Hi, I'm Dr. Gary, making good bosses into great leaders with compassionate accountability. As we go down this path and discuss more about compassionate accountability, I'd like to start today by defining compassion. What is it? It's simply taking the time to show concern for others. Now, how you define concern is up to you, but I think that the best thing to do is to set aside judgment in all things as much as you can and just ask somebody for their perspective, their facts. Especially as a leader, I remember working for the Covey Leadership Center many years ago, and Habit 5 reminds us of this idea of compassion. Seek first to understand before being understood. Do you seek to understand, or do you jump in with both feet when you think you have all the information presented before you? Many years ago, when I was a shift supervisor working for Procter & Gamble, I remember walking out on the production floor and seeing a complete mess. And it looked exactly the same as it did the hour before. And we had just talked about getting the place cleaned up. So I went out on the line and I talked to the foreman of the line and I said to him, "Why isn't this place cleaned up? This is ridiculous. We just talked about this. We need to get this done before the end of the shift." He looked at me, kind of rolled his eyes. I was a little young at the time, and I was jumping to conclusions. And at the same time, didn't really notice the eye roll. Walked back into my office feeling pretty proud of myself. As I sat there, filling out some paperwork, the shop steward walked in and sat down and said, "Gary, we need to talk." I said, "Okay, what's going on? You just yelled at Helen out there. She's doing a heck of a job. She's working really hard trying to do the right thing. What you don't know is she just spent the last 30 minutes talking to one of her crew members who's really struggling because their child is sick. And they were asking to go home. She asked them to stay for a little longer to get the place cleaned up. And he agreed. And they were about to get started. And you walk out and mess the whole thing up. I just want you to know, things aren't always what they seem. She was working on something more important. And what did you care about? Chewing her out for not cleaning up the floor. You might want to do it differently next time." Compassion is paying attention and letting people explain what's going on. Just listen. Let's try that. Showing concern for others is just taking the time to listen. So tomorrow, let's talk about accountability. And if you want to talk any more about this, just put "let's talk" in the comments. I am Dr. Gary, making good bosses into great leaders with compassionate accountability.